guys, welcome back to another video. So today we are going to be kind of continuing where I left off last week. So last week I ended up doing a alcohol marker drawing, but that drawing left a lot of bleed through, so we're gonna do something to cover this up first before working on today's spread. So I did do a previous video a while back where I showed you guys different ways how I cover up kind of marker bleed through, so like via sticky notes or using opaque mediums, but I'm gonna use one that pretty much blocks this out entirely and treats this almost as a new spread. So let's go ahead and do that first. So the thing I like doing is using some sort of like matte sticker paper. So what we're gonna do is unpeel this. And I do like using like a matte sticker paper so that it basically acts like a normal drawing surface of a sketchbook. Because I can't really imagine using glossy for something like this. And the fun thing is that you can always use these backing sheets as kind of like placeholders or pages to prevent your pages from smudging. So you can see I have one right here and I have one on the side as well. Kind of already adhered to our sketchbook. We can kind of just treat this spread as normal, but I think I'm mostly going to be using some sort of graphite for today's sketches. I'm not too sure if we're using like just normal graphite or if we're using our colored leads. But you can kind of see the color difference. So this one's warmer and this one's much cooler. So what are we going to use? I'm thinking maybe just a regular mechanical pencil, or we could do the, let me grab the lead so I can actually show you guys what lead I'm using in here. So this is kind of like where I kept all of my lead since like middle school up until now. Okay, it was in my other pencil case, but this is the lead that I like to use in this particular multi-pen. So this is the High-Tech C Coletto, and I have it in the 5 little components here. So these two are, I think it's like graphite, and then the red lead, then this is an eraser component, and then this is light blue, and this is dark blue. It's like kind of in that order. So this is the lead that I like to use for it. So it's the Nano color, and as this is like the only lead that I've seen that comes in a 0.5. The Pilot Color Eno version, or like the colored lead that I like to use from Pilot Color Eno, is in 0.7, and I believe that these don't come in a 0.7 kind of like component, so I bought these ones. And the blue one is by far my favorite. It's just very creamy and smooth feeling, so I like to use this one for sketching a lot of the time in my sketchbook. I don't know if it'll be too hard for you guys to see. It also smudges just a little bit less than like normal graphite. Because it is so smooth and like kind of on that creamier side, it will like definitely smudge if you kind of like graze across it. So just be a little bit wary. Okay, let's see. I think I'm gonna draw Alban today. So Alban Knox from Nijisan GEN. And I am just gonna draw maybe just different looks from his outfits that he had from, I guess, like throughout the years. So let's go ahead and just get started. I might zoom in since for, how do I want to do this? Unless I go this way, but because I am right-handed, I like sketching from left to right typically so that I can avoid smudging. So let's go ahead and start here. I might zoom in so you guys can see a little bit more easier, and then we can get started with just trying to fill up in this entire spread with a bunch of doodles. Also, I found that colored lead does tend to break a lot more easily compared to normal graphite. So it's something to take in consideration. I feel like either this one I've already used all of it up, so we're at the very end, or it's already broken kind of midway through. But we're gonna probably have to replace this in a little bit. I don't know how big we wanna go. I feel like the number one thing I've been misplacing more recently is my kneaded eraser. It somehow like hovers between my entire desk. Also, I might actually stick a new piece of lead. I think we are at the end of it. Is to put in a new one. I always refill my leads in a weird way. I don't really do it the normal way where you put these down the barrel. I kind of insert it from the other end. And then we take the small one. And hopefully allow that larger one to push against this one, and we can use this one until it basically falls out. Yeah, I don't know how many Albans I can fit on the spread, but I might draw just like my favorite outfits. And this is a little bit of a warm-up. I did do a little bit of more like coloring today rather than drawing, so I am feeling a little bit rusty. I might also lower my mic. I'm not too sure how well you guys can hear the pencil noises. It's been a while since I've done a traditional ASMR, I feel like. It doesn't help that I feel like the mic that I have right now is kind of like breaking at this point. See how this works? The mic is extra close now. Hopefully it's not casting too much of a shadow. I might see if I can find it. There's a reference that I've seen with a person, and I think it's like their glasses is kind of like hanging out a little lower on their face. But I think the character is kind of like posed in a very similar way. I'll make him smirk. I feel like he's that type. I know it's gonna be hard to see. Usually when I do sketches like this, I will kind of like really go at it with kind of like pressing down harder rendering, so that one, you guys are going to be able to see it a little bit more easily, but two, that's just how I like to spruce up my sketches sometimes. And a lot of like my Oshis, and maybe it's just like VTuber anime-esque kind of design. I love when the character has their bangs kind of like crisscross a little bit. But I think I like characters that have longer bangs anyways. It's been a while since I feel like I've drawn the normal look for Alban. I definitely gravitate towards like the really fluffy, cozy one. But granted, I feel like I just haven't drawn Alban like in general all that much. I think he's really cute. Both like design-wise and like his demeanor. So he's definitely one of my favorites to watch for sure. Yeah, I drew him a lot larger. I don't know how many I'm gonna be able to fit in this. So we have like family over right now, like extended family. So if I miss a day or two, I do apologize. I'm gonna try my best to still keep up with my uploads, to be still regular, especially during the holiday season, since I know like sometimes people might not celebrate the winter holidays, and technically I don't, to like a certain extent. So I like being able to consistently still post regardless about the holiday. And then anyone who also doesn't really celebrate, you can treat it as a normal day. And his little cat ear kind of accessory. Also, because this is going to be, well, I guess a little bit of a peek behind the curtain here. This is recorded like almost a week in advance. Sometimes I draw or record videos like a couple of days before. Sometimes they're like a week or two in advance. This one's like about a week in advance. So I think by the time you guys see this video, I should have at least a few drawings done for drawing your OCs for like the Santa Rin community post that I did earlier. I have like, I think 3 done? 2 done. 2 done. I'm working on the 3rd one. So it's been a little bit slower since we've had company over. So I am kind of out a little bit more often because we have family over right now. Can't just stay in my room and just draw, which is okay. I kind of like was expecting this to happen, but the duration has been extended, so my backlog of videos have been caught up at this point, which kind of throws me in a bit of a loop because it does make it a little bit more difficult to record when I'm following someone else's schedule. Okay, so you can see that I already started darkening up the lines here, and we're going to continue for the rest of this and kind of like spruce it up, and then we'll move on to our next sketch. So very much how I treat my sketch pages anyways, and that's kind of like what it's based off of how I draw and sketch traditionally. I'm trying not to like screw up my sketch at this part. Because I am pressing down harder, it does make it a little bit harder for me to erase at this point, unless I'm using like a firmer eraser. But I always like using some sort of kneaded eraser whenever I'm sketching traditionally, but also just mostly with pencil. So I like to make sure that I kind of understand what my sketch is kind of looking like right now, with how I sketched it initially, and then we can kind of just follow our lines. Obviously there's going to be stray lines here and there, but most likely I will cover it up with some sort of shading. And I kind of switch between the two, so I'll kind of spruce up and darken some lines. I'll go back in and also just shade, and kind of do a back and forth and switch. So the one thing that sucks about using a very short piece of lead that's being basically pushed by the longer piece is the fact that I do rotate my pencil a lot, but because that lead that's like really short is kind of on the looser end, it kind of shifts and moves on its own. So even if I rotate the pencil, sometimes I can't get like a very sharp edge to it. I think I made his face a little too long. I don't think I mentioned either that this is probably going to be a longer sketch with me type of session. I like doing the longer ones if I can during the holiday season, especially kind of for like the same reason I mentioned earlier, that if you're not someone who celebrates the winter holiday, then there's stuff that you can use to keep yourself company. As well as just like things proceed as normal. And I think it's kind of fun having the longer videos for stuff like this so that you can just, you know, whoops, draw along. Accidentally broke the lead, so now it's probably too short to use. So this is what happened to the lead, unfortunately. So we're just gonna proceed with the new one. At least it'll make it a little bit easier for when I'm trying to darken up my lines here. Just like recent years that I've been using graphite and pencil and just sketching in my sketchbook, I've definitely broken the lead a lot more than usual, because the little lead stash of like little graphite, color lead, most of the color lead are like new because I run through them quite easily, but a lot of my normal graphite is from like middle school, high school, maybe some from uni even. Because sometimes like pencils come with a pack of lead and I end up using it, but I truly don't go through lead that quickly unless I'm like doing heavy shading like this. Because back in high school, I did a lot of my graphite drawing with mechanical pencil, which made people very confused. Because it was definitely probably faster just to do it with like a normal pencil and not something so tiny and small. But this is what I was used to. So just a lot of shading. How can you guys actually see this? Do I regret choosing to use the blue lead? Who knows? Hopefully it's not too bad for you guys. Bottom section of his glasses darker, so I'm just gonna do a very light pass. And hopefully just darken this bottom section. And if I want to, I could go back in with the kneaded eraser and add like a highlight streak or something to it. I'll make sure that the bottom actually looks more darker though. I might try to round out his face a little bit, just to make it a little less long. I think I've mentioned this on a live stream before, or a art stream, that he gives small energy, like physically tiny. Because he's very cute, but I think he's not short, so, or like not as small as some people think he might be. Because I think he's like, is he 178 centimeters, I think? So he's like fairly tall-ish. Depending on your definition of tall, I guess. I think he's tall. Because his hair is more like mid-tone range, because it's brown and it's not like super light nor is it super dark, I do like coloring near the face to give it a little bit more contrast, and then sometimes I'll color in, or shade I guess in this case, the top section of where the crown of the head is. Let's color these. I keep saying coloring, I'm just like shading. And then this is dark, and then the inside is orange, so I'll just leave it fairly light. You can kind of see it smudging a little bit. My hand's also getting some of that blue, so I am smudging some of our lead around. Just so a lot of characters that I like to sketch, especially traditionally, are often ones that have a good amount of both dark and light in their outfit. So Alban has a very much like significant amount of black in his outfit, which makes it fun for me to shade. Right now I'm not doing a very good job of making it look very accurate. I'm just trying to fill in the area basically, but sometimes I go a little bit more ham with the rendering and try to block it out and try to make contrast between the lights and the dark so that we can get a better sense of what the form looks like. A lot of contrast in their outfits, so like a lot of dark colors along with like a lot of light colors, so that it makes it a lot easier for me to just doodle and sketch. So for like inking, I would do kind of the same thing. So try to concentrate a lot of like my hatching and building up of those values where a lot of the dark areas are, and then really try to push that contrast. So this one has like a few areas where I've kind of done it a little bit, but I'm not too compelled on finishing this one too much. And we'll move on to the next one. I think we're gonna try to bridge the gap here between our page on the left and the page on the right. Oftentimes when I do spreads, I don't like splitting them up directly unless I do truly want them to be two different like subject matters, or like for some reason I do want like that separation. But oftentimes if I'm trying to do like a more continuous spread or sketch page, I like to bridge them a little bit. So having a little bit of whatever doodles on the left or the right kind of bleed into one another. So let's move on and work on that. I need to grab my laundry really quick. So let me go do that first and we'll come back. How do I want to pose this one? So his second outfit has like two different looks to it. So one that has kind of a short sleeve sweater or like a v-neck sweater on top of kind of a, what is it called? Like a collared shirt and a turtleneck. And then the other look has him with an apron. And I kind of want to draw something with the apron just because I think that kind of aesthetic is very cute, hence why Masaki was made the way he was. So I'm gonna stick the face on one side. I hate splitting the face in the middle of the seam unless I'm doing a pose or an angle that both the eyes or eye is like only on one side of the page, if that makes sense. I feel like the seam sometimes creates like either a smaller or wider gap than it needs to be. I kind of want him facing this way. That way we can kind of bleed the shoulder in this way as well. So I didn't really think this too thoroughly. Ooh, I'm drawing him a lot larger than I was expecting to as well. I think I want him to have the little, maybe this way, the little bag of bread or pastry that he's carrying. Look for this one. So let's do something like this. And I want room here as well, so we might not make this fully take up this entire space. Maybe I'll stick his hand here. Okay, let's see how this looks. And for his eyes, I know it's probably hard to tell on this one specifically, but he does have heterochromia, so like these two won't look too similar. Whoops. No. That's why I don't want to extend the lead like too far out, but I do find it easier when the lead is a little longer so that you can get like lighter, quicker strokes. But I could also just like hold my pencil higher up. I think also like I haven't drawn my Oshis that much is because mostly I've been drawing Selwyn in like my spare time or like my free time. I kind of want to get back to drawing my OCs again just in general for the flower zine because I would love to have that for next year. The way how this year has went, I can't tell if that's gonna be possible. I might actually have to put myself like on a specific schedule I should follow for the zine specifically. And then longer sleeves. I really like this outfit a lot. This one and his third outfit I think are one of my favorites. An aesthetic that I like just visually. I don't think I've ever drawn his more recent outfit. It's very cool though. It's kind of more like traditional Japanese-esque kind of aesthetic, which I think looks very neat. And especially because he has like a custom animation with like how he opens up his fan. Gonna stick this hand or pinky lower. Whoops, that is one weird looking shoulder. Yeah, you can see that I pressed too hard, so I can't use my kneaded eraser to get rid of that. So we'll go back. Pull out a weight eraser or some sort of like firmer eraser. Just like erase this. So it's just a little less distracting. You could also just like leave it if you wanted to, but for me, I don't really want it to be there, so. And like I said, you can't really see the apron anymore, but that's okay. Getting the eyes in. This one's a little bit more scraggly, the sketch, but that's okay. I should have put his teeth in here. It's okay. I do like his hair though. Super cute. I think it's also because like I like when characters have kind of like, it's kind of like round and contained but still fluffy and a little bit more like messy still. And Alban kind of has like that perfect look for it. I think I did too, to be honest. And I think visually both of those characters are very much more like up my alley in terms of like aesthetics. Calyx is also very cute though. Personality wise and like his looks. He kind of has like that round-ish upper portion of his hair and then it kind of flares out at the bottom, which I think is cute. So I'm kind of shading once again more towards the bottom of the bangs. And then if we want to, we can flesh these out as well. And then I'll just shade in kind of just the top portion. Just a bit for like a little bit of depth. I'm not really going to do like a super big band of highlights. Sometimes I do end up doing that, but other times I'm a little bit lazy to establish where I want the highlights and what is it called? The rest of the hair strands to be. He kind of has like a plaid look to his entire outfit. Just gonna shade a little bit more of this bag. I didn't draw his coffee cup very well. It looks very rough. It looks a little bit better. Also, it's like really windy outside right now. I think it's too early for the Chinook for us, but it's been super warm. Despite it being winter and it's supposed to be more of like the snowy season. Okay. I don't know if it's too small to put something down here. We'll do one more kind of like, probably like a waist up-ish sketch here. Or even like a 3/4. And then maybe we'll just put text at the very bottom to fill up the space, because that's also a fun thing to do if you want to eliminate an awkward space in your sketches. Okay, let me switch over to find which other Alban do I want to draw. I'm kind of tempted. I love formal outfits, but I'm kind of leaning towards the cozy one. It's so cute. And also bless the user on Twitter, Albanesque. They have like screenshots basically of like the outfits. I'm kind of looking at like fan poses. So I don't know how I want to pose this per se. There's a lot of good references though for poses for fans. Yeah, we'll do this one. It's very simple-ish. Okay, let's see. Oh, but I don't want him facing the same way. Oh, let's figure it out. I guess it is in his right hand. The post that I saw was in more like the left hand, so we'll see. I was gonna say, does Ayato have a fan? No, it's Ayaka. So I have drawn fans before, to a certain extent. I do want to redo my Ayaka piece though. I've drawn her so not well. The last time I drew her. And she's like one of my favorites, because I think she's so adorable. I guess it'll be more of like a waist stub. I'm guessing I'm drawing larger every time. Or not every time, like compared to what I was planning on, I guess. Hopefully I can kind of fix his face. This one eye is looking a little funky. Also, one difference, like, even using the color, the palette color Nano, or what is it called? Graphite? I always have like a kneaded eraser at the end of my pencil. This one I do not. And I'm probably going to get rid of this pencil, or not pencil, this eraser component, because it's just too flimsy for me, so it doesn't really act in a way that I would actually use it in a functional manner, I guess, because it's so flimsy, so it's not hard enough, I guess, for it to be used as just the normal white eraser. I feel like it might smudge and or just not erase well enough for it to be as useful. So kind of want the fan here. Now it's this eye that I'm not liking. I might even scrap the entire sketch, because I feel like I started off with a terrible base of this, or we can just erase the entirety of where the eyes are. Kind of do a reset, realign, because I think I just didn't really want to like budge where the nose was initially. Maybe it's kind of hard for me to unsee this. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna draw his hair, because this is technically the first time I've drawn this Alban, so it's gonna look a little rough. I always love how I guess like character designers, outfit designers, I don't know what you want to call it, for Vocaloids especially. I love seeing like the little elements that stay like consistent for all of them. I think it's really cool. Or like how it's adjusted slightly to fit the aesthetic. I like kind of like a mullet-esque hairstyle for characters, just because it's fun to draw. I've already talked about this. The fact that, like, in real life, when people have mullets, I'm not the biggest fan. I don't hate it. I think it's also because I typically like when they have longer, like a mullet that's like decently long, but like the sides and the bangs are also somewhat long-ish. But every time I see it, like people have like the choppier bangs at the very front and then like very long in the back, and like the sides are super short. And I guess that's more like akin to an actual mullet, maybe. That's why. Because I don't know if mullet's like referring to the entirety of the hairstyle, or is it actually just the fact that you have longer hair in the back and like your sides are shorter than the back side, so like it kind of staggers in a way. Cute cat bell. I always love whenever I see like jewelry or accessories or designs, or like more, I guess like metal? How do you explain the detailings for this? Like the little clasp for his undershirt here. I really like the detailing. So I don't really like his face. So I might have to line up the sketch one more time to see if I can correct it. A bit of a smile behind here. Bit of a fang. Okay, we'll see how this works. Because I think I will just rock the kneaded eraser back and forth and see if I can fix this one last time. of wish I made him face the other way. I feel like it would be 3 consecutive 3/4 views in a row facing the same way. The earring for this is so cute. It's like a little lantern. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Because the thing is with his eyes, they are more like cat-like, so he has like a longer pupil. His eyes are a little bit more sharper. And one thing is, like, I definitely draw more rounder eyes and larger eyes. Typically for them are like that cuter look. So sometimes I draw Alban a little bit like not accurately. But this hairstyle is very cute on him. Because I think this one and the, I don't know what you want to call it, like the prince, kind of like Black Butler-esque type of look. It's like a bratty prince almost. That look is probably the most different that his hair has looked. But I always love how they give him like texture or like the little accessories in his hair. Even though this one has like less like a cat-like look to it, this one's still very cute. Okay, it doesn't look too bad now. I know this eye was like the problem, but now the fact that the hair's cutting into this eye does make it look a little bit more closer than what I initially had intended. I could have shifted this one more though. Hey, I might also see if I can find like a pale enough orange. I could put it right in the background of this. I want to find an orange or maybe like a yellow or something that will match this blue nicely. Let's look up what would match this color nicely. The thing is, it's like, it might be something a little bit more yellowy like this. Which basically is just like a dark yellow in the pastel set. And I'm kind of tempted to use that because the blue that I'm using in the sketchbook is more of like a purpley blue. It's not more of like a green blue. So I don't want to go with a color that's too reddish orange. This one's okay. And I don't want to go like too yellow because we're not like too close to purple in a sense, you know what I mean? So a lot of these oranges are a little bit too deep and a little bit too dark for what I want. So I think we're gonna stick with this and hope that it looks okay. Oh, before we do that, okay, now let's pick a font. So I'm using 1001fonts.com and you can sort by like different themes or aesthetics as well as like monetary, non-monetized kind of like fonts depending on what you're trying to use it for, or like I guess like commercial free. Let's go handwritten. I'll put Alban. Is the fact that it shows you the font with the lettering that you've put. Obviously it depends on like how big your font is, but you can kind of see it. Because you guys probably won't be able to see it because it's very light. I'm trying to look at this font. I don't think it's, is it, can you, I know how to do handwriting because I was taught it back in, you know, like elementary. But I can't tell if this one's actually possible to do in one stroke. Because I can't imagine how to do the L to the B to the A. So it's kind of like that. I'll lighten it up a smidge. You guys probably won't be able to see it regardless. But I will be able to kind of see the light blue underneath the yellow. Or this orange, whichever you want to call it. using water-based markers is the more you try to fix it and overlap it, you get like darker and darker. And I don't know if I want that, unless, no. I said we could like, maybe we could take advantage of it, but I don't think we are going to. Because I could do a shadow underneath like every overlapping area. But I think we're just gonna do this. Basically an outline around it. And I think I do like this color a lot more. Alban Knox, and then we can add something to the background. Now the easiest thing to do is just to block in either random shapes or just a rectangle behind each character. I kind of want to add one behind the entirety of them. And let me see if we can do this. Just want to plan out where we want to add our border here. So I'm basically just covering all of our empty space. And I'm trying to make it as uniform as I can while also dodging certain areas. But there's always going to be some inevitable overlap for water-based markers. I'm trying to make it just a little less obvious for certain areas. And then I think, yeah, I think that's it for the spread. You can also just like add small things. So like we could also add like a paw print or two. What else could we add? I think that maybe that's just about it. Kind of like a drop shadow. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom out and I'll show you guys like the final look of this spread. I forgot about one last close-up of the sketches, so not really clean. You can kind of see what the blue looks like next to our yellowy orange color. Here's kind of our font. Doesn't really look like an A now, it looks like an O. Our two last sketches on this side. And that's basically it for the spread. I don't think I went too ambitious with any of the sketches, to be honest. I'm trying to relocate where did I put my other pencil go. It's gonna be weird next year, putting 26 instead of 25. But yeah, this is what the sketches look like as our overview. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a kind of like longer sketching session. This is the one from last week, so you can kind of see I like using the dark blue for sketching. Typically, even for like some of these doodles, I use the light blue, or not light blue, the darker blue for some of these. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, or around the beginning I think, you can always use the backing sheets for the sticker paper that I used to cover up the marker bleed through on this side, and use it as a protective sheet basically. And we can flip over to our, I didn't skip a page, our next spread for next time. And as you're working on this side on the paper, you're basically going to be like imprinting and putting pressure on this side, which might make other like graphite drawings or anything like that press into one another. So for me, I like to keep pages in between until I get further along into the sketchbook where I feel like the pressure won't really cause too much of that imprinting, I guess. So yeah, I think that's it for today. Thanks for hanging out, guys, and I'll talk to you guys next time in the next video. Now, I feel like, will I see you guys again before Christmas hits? If not, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. And yeah, I think I'll talk to you guys next time in the next video. Bye!